Hello, my name is John Crose, and I'm going to talk to you about an assignment I had when I was stationed with NATO in the Netherlands. A mission came up for some drivers in Kabul, Afghanistan, supporting ISAF, which is International Security Assistance Force number 8 in Kabul, Afghanistan. So Afghanistan has a varied war-torn country, and around 1747 or so it was made into Afghanistan, and then around 1979 the USSR, the Soviet Union, invaded Afghanistan and caused a lot of problems there for the indigenous peoples. The landscape of Afghanistan, where I was in Kabul, is very mountainous. It's towards the middle and eastern side of the country and borders Pakistan. This is the capital city of Kabul, and it is not very modern. There's no street lights or stoplights. There's no lines. It's drive however you can to get to where you're going. It's crazy driving there. And then the Taliban takes control from the Soviet Union in 1996. Russia left in '89 when the walls were coming down, and then there was some civil war and strife happening in Afghanistan, and then in '96 the Taliban took over. Lots of used Soviet vehicles are still there. Some are still in use. The Afghanis are really adept at using what's around them and making it work for them. Another big problem was the Soviets littered the whole country with anti-personnel mines, and where I was staying at the airport, it was the job of the Czech Republic and another nation's EOD team to demine the airport that I was at. So these are nasty little devices that when little kids or goats, sheep, whatever farm animals are walking through fields, that they step on them and they lose their leg, or sometimes they lose their life. But it's a major problem that's still ongoing in Afghanistan, and they're working on getting all of those out. So after September 11th, the U.S. and coalition forces go in and attack the Taliban in Afghanistan. This is an A-10 Warthog out of Bagram Air Base, which was north of where I was staying at. There was some good fighting between the Taliban and American forces, and when I was in Germany, a relative of mine was killed in Afghanistan, and a lot of my coworkers, a lot of people at my battalion thought it was me because we looked very similar, and and stuff. He was a ranger fighting up in the mountains and was killed by the Taliban. This is how a lot of business is conducted in Afghanistan, as like the 3 cups of tea that you're familiar with in the book that I think Mortensen or something did, a writer from Bozeman. So here I am. This is my vehicle that I drove. It wasn't bulletproof. It only had anti-personnel floor mats, heavy floor mats on the floor, and plastic film on the windows to protect in case of a explosion. So not the armored Humvees and stuff that my counterparts were operating there while I was there. Lots of unused ammunition and rockets, bombs, things that could be used for IEDs, the improvised explosive device. So the EOD and guys would find these, gather them all up, and then take them off to a secure location and detonate all this ordnance. Most of it was probably left over from Russians and who knows else, or whatever else they got it. So this was a huge cargo plane, Russian, bringing in all kinds of needed supplies to be distributed out to the people of Afghanistan. Very, very dusty there, and with those huge engines. It's a newly formed Afghan army trained by U.S. and coalition forces, training them to eventually take over for us, and that they can have an army to defend their country. Many of the Afghan women are still scared of the Taliban and the hardline Muslim, the Sharia law, so they still wear the burqa and are still covered, though some women dress modern. But I guess they take a risk of being privately punished under Sharia law for not following the rules. There's only little hand pumps located here and there throughout Kabul, so the little children have to, one of their jobs, is to fill up these big buckets of water and put them on carts and take them home. I don't know how, I'm sure the water's being tested and everything to make sure there's no dysentery and other diseases in the water. The typical woman with flatbread and her burqa. A group of boys and an elder. One of my missions was going out with psychological operations, handing out a NATO publication talking about all the things that are being done in their country, the infrastructure and stuff being built up. You know, for example, the new schools, having the children get an education, realize that there's more in the world than what they see. Here's a French soldier doing some medical treatments on the Afghanis. And like I had said before, this was some demining operations there at the Kabul International Airport where I was working out of. So training some Afghanis training them how to go about getting the mines out and disposing of them properly and getting them all trained up for when we eventually leave. Now they'll have a skill. And then here I am ready to return back to the Netherlands. My mission was accomplished. Hope you had fun watching my little photo story. Bye-bye.